Oh, jeez.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
We're home. Man on the moon. Boy.
Okay, we're going to be busy for a minute.
Do you think that maybe you'll get another chance to go to the moon, or are you going to be too busy being heroes?
I'm looking at your fancy Moon to Mars logo, and 15 years ago, almost to the date, I sat right over there when President Bush had the different arrangement of words and said, we're going to go back to the moon in about 10 years. 15 years later, we're still 10 years away or so from humans. Your Mars charts stop with Mars sample return. Your Moon charts stop with a single human landing. There's no from there to here bridge chart. And I'm kind of wondering what NASA's been doing in the ensuing 15 years. I mean, I know the answer, but I want to hear yours.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that seems to have changed is the color of the carpet in this room.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we
destroyed that technology.
And it's a painful process to build it back again.
It was all recorded on these telemetry tapes. So where is this hard evidence?
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
But your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Could this be true? Mankind's first interplanetary exploration and the original science data is missing?
11, this is Houston, radio check, over.
If it's anywhere, it should be here at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland, home to the National Space Science Data Archives.
This film you're making now, what is it?
This is a film trying to prove that Apollo 11 happened.
Does it have a name? I mean, do you have a name for it yet, or are you?
I'm calling it Did We Go?
Did we go? Okay.
Doesn't have it either. The Smithsonian doesn't have it. Johnson doesn't have it.
Right. We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
Of all the footage of Apollo 11 requested from NASA over a 5-year period, one gem was discovered just before the completion of this documentary. An old reel received by mistake. It contains the raw or unedited footage of the crew of Apollo 11, Michael Collins, Edwin Aldrin Jr., and Neil Armstrong, staging part of their mission for nearly an hour in living color. Neil Armstrong falsely explains to the viewers how the shot is attained by putting the camera's lens to the window's glass, as it would have to be if they were the claimed distance away from the Earth.
We only have one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with a TV camera.
If the window was completely filled up with a TV camera, as he stated, then an astronaut's arm would not be able to get between the camera and the window, as it obviously does here in this outtake.
South America becomes invisible just off beyond the Terminator or inside the shadow.
You can also notice how the astronaut operating the camera reacted to the mistake by attempting to pan away from it.
Blue cast, see white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth.
This is a segment that they believed wasn't even being recorded, much less suitable for broadcast, for the lens was being zoomed out and the scene was being changed to that of an interior of the astronauts at work, and apparently the stop button popped back up on the recorder without notice. Here is the diffused work light that they used to see camera controls, but not throw light onto the spacecraft's wall. Here they remove part of the crescent insert. Finally, the iris is opened up and you can see the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window. Here is the slate for the 19th of July. and the same shot of trickery on the 19th of July. And then the 20th, and the same misleading shot on the 20th. Later that evening, they were said to be walking on the moon. How can this be when they were in Earth orbit only 9 hours earlier, and the moon is some 3 days' journey away? Furthermore, if they genuinely went to the moon, why would they be faking any part of it?
So to summarize, what American citizens are confronted with is this enormous propaganda machine. For example, the U.S. Air Force has the largest movie studios and more equipment in San Bernardino than any studio in Hollywood.
Here's a picture of the INSAT actually being deployed from the spacecraft. You can see that the deploy went very smoothly. At the moment of...
Did you see it? In the background? There was a guy in the background, man. I'm not kidding you. You can't deny that that's someone in the background. There's a guy moving in the background. Here, watch it again. Watch it closely. I looked up, or I tried to look up the size of this rocket. I found this picture. You can see it's massive. So if that rocket is in space and if there's a guy in the background in that footage, that means that there are like giants, like insane big giants floating around in space looking at NASA. That's probably why they don't dare to go back to the moon and why they hide so much stuff. Space is full of giants.
Whose orange Hummer is this? Okay, that looks like a NASA symbol. Cameras set up, tents, ATVs, food. They've been there a while. In Greenland. So I'll keep kind of going through here and see if it... What the... Yeah, so... I think I found out where Mars is, guys. It's just about 1,000 miles north of me. Not quite the distance that NASA says. But I can't find anybody who's in charge of this. They must be hiding behind these rocks. Oh no, there they are out in front of everybody. Just standing there. Lovely. Clown number 1, clown number 2, and clown number 3. This thing's just driving around taking pictures. Unbelievable.
Now observe this next clip. What you are simply seeing is the usage of CGI, and this is 100% proof that this definitely cannot be real. These people cannot be in the space station or so, as they claim. When you look at this, I want you to see this man's arm disappear right in front of you as he goes in the corner. You see that? Once again, first of all, you may think that your eyes are simply tricking you, or you are probably just seeing things and it's not real, but I'm assuring you right now, this is very real. This is the footage that's been obtained from NASA itself. So what you are seeing, this is a raw footage that has not been tampered with.
The same green screen glitch we have seen from NASA and ESA so often. People don't just appear out of thin air. Yet this taikonaut does exactly that. First you can see right through him, then he gets more and more solid as he enters the module.
Now, this scenery is properly staged. That's something you have to know. Everything is staged.
Let's use this model of the Earth. And let's enlist the help of a friend, Taxi. You might know her.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't figure out by now, I'm going to be the first man to actually tell you this, that teleportation is officially real. We are live in the ISS, and guess what? Teleportation is real. This is only done through the usage of chroma key. This is chroma key technology. This is green screen or blue screen technology. That's what is being utilized here.
To better make things work like what you just seen in that video there, how this thing just magically appeared out of nowhere, this doll, this toy, you need the aid of either a blue screen or a green screen.
So outside of green screens, there are also blue screens. And that's what you're seeing right here. You're seeing the former president being pushed through this NASA area, and behind him is Tim Peake, an astronaut, with what looks like a blue screen, a chroma key screen right behind him. And you see the green ball. I mean, we can compare footage around that same time compared to what was caught on camera, and you can see it's the same background. It looks like the same deal. And I've only ever found one other video that's ever shown this same checkered blue screen. This is that one other video that I'm showing you right here. But how coincidental is it that they use this blue checkered background, which is extremely similar to ORAD virtual set technology?
We all know NASA uses wires, and sometimes we'll catch them like this here. The guy pulled on his wire. However, some days when you're filming live, things just don't work out, and it becomes so blatantly obvious, it's ridiculous. So, in this clip, they're talking, live feed, and wouldn't you know, we have a astronaut go by us in the background, obviously trying to give it a more realistic, spacey, station busy effect. The only problem is the camera that was supposed to mask this harness out, or the video feed, is not working. And so we see the guy come flying along in a harness on his wires. Pretty amazing. But that's not all that goes wrong here. NASA grabs objects in 3D space, rotates them around, manipulates them. They can do this with water, with cloth, anything. And the cool thing about it is we can take what they're doing, what they're seeing with their contact virtual reality augmented lenses, and put that on a separate video layer live. They're wearing augmented contact lenses so that they can interact with these 3D objects. Now in this scene, the guy on the left in the green shirt, he thinks he sees an object in 3D space that's being broadcast to him. So he grabs it and he puts it off to the side. He's looking straight ahead because he's looking at an object rotating in front of him, but the video channel is down that is supposed to show the viewers what we're supposed to see, and so we don't actually get to see the object that he is seeing. And I would just sum this up as a very terrible, bad, horrible day for NASA doing live feeds. As much fun as this was, there is a time coming when you and I will not be able to tell the difference.
Water is also very dangerous on the space station because we have a lot of electricity, so we need to be very careful not to spill it.
What I like to do is start by just putting some hot water, squirting it onto my scalp. Sometimes the water gets away from you, and you try and catch as much as you can. Then I take my no-rinse shampoo and squirt it also on the scalp.
We cannot wash stuff up here.
Just a little bit. And rub it in. I like to follow that by a little more water.
You wouldn't use all that water to wash, just because it's a little bit difficult to control.
It's called no-rinse shampoo, but I think it's best if you use a little water with it.
Water is also very dangerous on the space station because we have a lot of electricity, so we need to be very careful not to spill it.
So we just squirt water into our hair, we add some shampoo, we massage it just like we would on Earth, and then we kind of dry the excess water and shampoo off with a towel, and off we go. So we don't absolutely lose any of the water that we use to wash.
Sometimes the water gets away from you.
And so today I thought it was a good idea to show you how I wash my hair. that's it. Thank you.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing.
You ready?
Okay, just keep telling me.
Move back.
You gotta tell me what it's like to be in space. What's it like to be in space? Well, it's a lot like being in the pool here.
They always treat you like a child, and they've stolen all your instincts to be wild.
With simulated zero gravity would be quite different from the ways that they fake the outside shots using blackout pools and things like this. So
many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Despite the advanced technologies of multi-layered, computer-generated images, NASA is still unable to remove bubbles in space. Bubbles in space. This summer, get ready for the revelation so unbelievable that only the most observant, perceptive, unbiased will figure it out. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles in space. Bubbles in Space starts today at theaters everywhere.
Just take a look at China's spacewalk, 2008. They filmed it in a pool, just like the big space agencies, with the same telltale signs. Bubbles in space, astronauts, taikonauts in this case, and objects like their Chinese flag and the security cable fighting against the water current. The globe projection in the background glitches, and the whole Earth changes from partly cloudy to completely clouded in a few seconds. For a few extra bucks, the Chinese space actors even throw up a salute to the devil, showing the horned one hand sign just like their overpaid counterparts. Or here, China's space station.
Maybe it's time to challenge life. See, the whole world's been hypnotized. Swim, little mermaid. Sink or swim right up. Look 'em in the eye. Swim,
I wonder just what there is to add to that.